Hey everybody, welcome to the latest edition of the Diamond Discussion. I am your host, Demetrius Woods, and today we're going to talk about Major League Baseball's World Series between the Dodgers and the Yankees. We're also going to discuss how to best use the fall ball season to your advantage, at least here in Georgia on the heels of school ball. And we're going to talk about very specifically of how to anticipate where the balls hit when you're on defense. So without further ado, let's get it started. All right, guys, welcome to Season 6, Episode 41. Wow, we are here. Happy anniversary to the Diamond Discussion, November 9th, 2024. Very first anniversary of the show, guys. Thank you all so much for the last 365 days. The last 40 episodes have been incredible because of you, the feedback, just the whole nine. I'm so grateful. So from the bottom of my heart, thank you for listening to my lovely voice. I don't really think it's that lovely, but some of you have said that. So I'm very grateful for your kind words, even if you're not telling the truth. But anyway, my point is, guys, grateful. And I hope this next year is even better. I want to match the energy. I want to match the guests and just bring more amazing, incredible content to you guys. And hopefully it continues to add value to your life, your game, whether you're a player, coach, parent, or just really a fan of the show and like to hear my voice. So with that being said, though, let's talk about this World Series. I know some of my players don't even follow Major League Baseball, which is cool, but there's still some things that you can take away from it beyond just the excitement of the game itself. But first of all, talking about the series, all right, as some of you may or may not know, the Dodgers went up 3-0 in this series. The first two games were out in LA. Dodgers took Game 3 in New York, and the Yankees were able to pick off Game 4 there. Their bats finally came alive. I think they put up 11, 12 runs in Game 4. And then Game 5 goes to the Dodgers after being down 5-0. And we're going to talk about that part here in just a second. It's got me all lit up. But first of all, let's talk real quick for the baseball gurus out there. Some of you have asked, like, what are my thoughts on the future of the Yankees and Dodgers? Like, can we get this matchup again here soon? Because we've been waiting on this matchup for over 40 years, believe it or not. Okay, and so and here's the weird part about that: we've waited over 40 years or so. This is back in the early 80s when the last time the Yankees and Dodgers met in the World Series. And this is the most popular matchup in the World Series. I think this was the 12th time these two teams have faced off. So obviously, back in the 1900s, these guys faced off so much. And I believe, let me see, this was the Dodgers' 8th World Series that they've won, and four of them, are off of the Yankees. Now, again, the Yankees have 27 titles. They've lost a handful, or however many they've lost, I don't recall. But the Dodgers, man, if they're in there with the Yankees, hey, they got a shot. You know what I mean? So they're 4-8 right now, I guess, against the Yankees in the World Series. So series still goes to the Yanks, man. But I'll tell you, what a fun series to watch if you're a fan of the game, because every game was just teetering on something, right? It just felt like something was going to happen, and a lot of times it did, right? The first 4 games, Freddie Freeman happened, which was just unbelievable. That's a huge testament to what rest can do for a guy, as he's working through an injury. Because some of you may know, like, he was dealing with an ankle injury all throughout the division series and the championship series. The Dodgers dispatch of the Mets early in the championship series to get to the World Series, and now he's got 6 days off between their final game against the New York Mets and Game 1 of the World Series. So he was able to work on his swing and focus truly on his game versus just the injury itself, and it made a world of a difference. My goodness, walk-off grand slam, okay? Walk-off grand slam in extra innings, Game 1. What? Let's go. Let's go. Some of you guys do not know Gibby at all. Okay, Gibson from the old ages of baseball, right? But guys, go look him up. okay? Because my favorite line from this World Series, the commentator, I wish I could recall his name. With all due respect, I forgot his name, but man, he goes, "Gibby meet Freddie," and that lit up my world because I'm a baseball enthusiast, and I love the game for what it is and all the history that it brings. And so again, man, shout out to Freddie Freeman and what he was able to do. A lot of you, I think I may have shared this before. A lot of you know that Mookie Betts is my favorite current ball player. Big Poppy, all time great, played for the Boston Red Sox. Really the latter half of his career or more. And I'm a big Sox fan. Mookie won a World Series with the Red Sox, and now he's got two more in LA. And so I kind of root for the Dodgers. Not gonna lie to you, they're my low key National League team, but I'm not taking claim or anything like that. But I do root for them. Uh, partly because of Mookie. So anyway, all that to say, man, what a series. Okay, a lot of excitement if you're into that kind of thing. But let's dive into the future of these two teams, as I was actually getting to before I got excited there. So the Yankees, okay, so they have a lot of just star power in their lineup, just as the Dodgers do. Okay, this is kind of one of those World Series where you're like, okay, yeah, they're supposed to be here, right? Like this is on paper, the Dodgers are the best team in the National League, and on paper, the Yankees are the best team in the American League. But you guys know baseball, and you know if you don't know baseball, you know softball. And the best team on paper does not always get to the chip, right? And so for both of these teams to rise to the occasion as the number one seeds in their respective leagues and get through the division and championship series in their leagues to the World Series, like that's saying a lot, right? I mean, you had a Texas Rangers, Arizona Diamondbacks World Series last year. Neither one of the teams made the playoffs this year. Okay, so that should tell you something. And they were long shots last year. Had you put money in Vegas on a Texas Arizona World Series last year, you would have made bank. Okay, so again, all that to say, kudos to these guys. But the future looks a little interesting, in my opinion, for the Yankees. To answer you guys' question, because I don't know that I don't know they're going to be able to keep everybody. I know that Garrett Cole just signed an extension there to keep him there for another few years or so, which I thought that was great for the Yankees. I think he has an opportunity to do something there and leave a mark there in New York with the core group of guys that they have. But everybody's not going to be able to come back. I don't know that they're going to be able to sign everybody. I do like Jazz Chisholm in a Yankee uniform. I feel like it fits him a little bit. I feel like a guy like Aaron Boone, and I hope they keep him because I really like Aaron Boone. And for me to say that as a Red Sox fan, like that's a little off-putting, I know. But like Aaron Boone to me is he was a great player. But I think the way he manages, well, just kind of managing the locker room, I think he does a great job. To me, he's a player's coach, and I appreciate coaches like that because I strive to be one myself with my softball players. But anyway, all that to say, Jazz Chisholm, I hope he goes back and returns with the Yankees. The ridiculous there that the Marlins have going on, I'm glad he got out of that fire there, went up to New York, and he's got something that I think he can. He's got the pinstripes, if you will, that he can be proud to wear. So I don't think everybody's coming back though. So that's that. The Dodgers, I believe that they're built long term. I think that with Mookie, with Freddie, with Shohei, because those are your three heavy hitters, right? Those are your three MVPs in the lineup, and I feel like they're able to take care of those guys. I know Shohei's already locked up, Mookie's locked up, Freddie's in a contract, obviously. So those guys are there for the long haul. But then you've got critical pieces like a Max Muncy, a Will Smith kind of guy, Chris Taylor, who was not really a big piece of this World Series run, but he was a couple of years ago. And, so you've got some of that veteran type deal going on there. They were able to piece together a semblance of a pitching rotation that really impressed the heck out of me. So I think Dodgers are built long term. Now, let's talk about this World Series and let's talk about this run to the World Series specifically for the winner in the Dodgers. Okay, so the Dodgers rather, they were able to figure out, because I will say they were on the ropes. All right, my wife and I, we were out in Vegas during the Dodgers and Padres series, and I felt like it was going to go five, and it did just that. All right, now it didn't go five the way I thought it was going to go five. I thought that essentially I felt like it would be 1-1, and then 2-2, and then the Dodgers would win. Was it that though? I know the Padres went up 2-1. That's what it was. I thought the Dodgers would have gone up 2-1. That's what the switch was. So anyway, the Dodgers are in a position now where they've got to go win Game 4 and Game 5, and they figured it out, man. They figured out how to pull it off. I swear to you, I thought the Padres were going to figure this thing out and get it done, and that would have been wild in and of itself, because I felt like, to me, the Padres had been the hottest team, one of the hottest teams at least, in the league on the back end, because I don't remember what the stat was. I gave it to you at the end of season 5, but the Padres were the best team and down the stretch. So anyway, they were able to get past them. They go on, and the Dodgers go on. They play a feisty Mets team. I mean, my goodness, the way, like I said, I won't regurgitate it all from last episode, but man, the way the Mets got into the playoffs, right, through the Brewers and the Braves, and then the Phillies, like, I'm like, yo, what's going on here? All right, so the Mets, man, I think they're built well well also. I think so. They have a tough division with the Phillies and with the Braves in the NL East, but they're going to compete, and they proved it this season that they're here to compete, and they've got a nice mix of youth and veteran leadership. They got JD Martinez on the roster. Obviously, Lindor is a hot topic up in New York, so those guys are looking good. But my point is, uh, as you can tell, I'm very excited about this. But like the Dodgers were able to get through, okay, and we get here to this World Series, all right, and I'm thinking 7, 6 minimum. Okay, 6 minimum. And I'm thinking the Dodgers close this thing out at home back in LA. Now, we were teetering on that. Okay, we were teetering on that until the 5th inning happened of Game 5. So I think that Halloween just got wrapped up, a week and a half or so ago, right? But I think if you could, I saw this thing on online somewhere, but it was a triangle. Which, if you watch baseball on TV, the triangle facing up is indicating that it's the top of the inning, right? So if you got triangle and number 5, right? If you somebody put that on a T-shirt and they're like, let's wear this for Halloween, because you would haunt all New York Yankee fans with that shirt. Top of the 5th. That's all you got to say in New York right now, and in the Bronx specifically, and people would look at you like, with a death stare. So I think, right, because top of the 5th, man, in Game 5, all hell broke loose. By the way, they're up 5-0. Okay, so it's straight fives right there for the Yankees. So no more fives for them, I guess. But they're up 5-0. Go pull it up on YouTube. I think there's a 10 to 12 minute clip that you can watch. But guys, this was an epic collapse, right? This was on a huge scale where you're up by 5 runs. Okay, you're up by 5 runs. It's the middle of the game, and we're not talking bombs away, right? We're not talking the pitcher's missing his spots and the whole 9. We're talking about genuine errors, right? Not an error that cost them the inning. Errors, like 3. Okay, so 2. We had center fielder Aaron Judge, bless him, misses a routine fly ball. Call it what you want. I saw some people online saying, hey, the ball that comes right at you, he's in center field. The ball that comes right at you, that's one of the toughest ones to catch. And absolutely it is. I will not disagree with that. Okay, but it's got to be on a freaking line drive, like tough to read, not tough to catch. This was runner on first base. He's maybe taking a peek. takes his eyes off the ball a little bit too soon, right? And it just tips right off his gloves and rolls on. And Kike Hernandez of the Dodgers has to scamper into second base, and he barely gets in there by a few milliseconds probably, so that he can be safe, right? So now you got first and second going on. Like I said, I'm not going to go through the whole thing, but like that was an error right there. Right after that, or not long after that, I think it was the very next play though. Shortstop moving to his right. Again, you got first and second, nobody out here. Shortstop moving to the 5-6 hole there. Boom, play at 3. That should be an easy force out, a simple force out at least, for a major leaguer, no doubt. Okay, they boot that one, right? We got bases loaded now. I guess I am getting into it. We got bases loaded now. Garrett Cole strikes out the next 2 batters. Okay? The next 2 batters go down, including Shohei Ohtani, right? So you get the 9 hole, which I don't know if it was Tommy Edman or not that game, but it doesn't matter. But they get the 9 hole, and then they get Shohei, who's in the 1 hole. Obviously, he's dealing with an injury. Doesn't matter though. You're in the moment. You get the 9 hole and the 1 hole out. Mookie Betts, my guy, right, comes up 2 outs, bases loaded, and hits a ground ball to first base. They're out. The Yankees are out of the inning right now, guys. Okay, in 99 times, I'll say 98 times at least out of 100, the Yankees are out of the inning unscathed. Bases loaded, nobody out. They should be out of this jam. No runs allowed. But that's not the case. Why? Ground ball to first base is kind of one of those cue balls. So it's got a little spin on it, right? And I think it was Anthony Rizzo of the Yankees, first baseman there. Great run with the Chicago Cubs, by the way. Anthony Rizzo, though, he's got to wait on the ball a little bit, right? Because it's got a little spin on it, and you want to make sure that once it hits that dirt, right? That first hop on the dirt, you want to make sure you don't want it to skip away from you, right? So he's deep first base, right? He's at least a good 7-8 steps probably behind the bag fielding this ball. Who's covering the bag? The pitcher should, right? Nope. Garrett Cole is not there. There's a freeze frame of showing Garrett Cole pointing at the bag as in like, Anthony, you got it. And Mookie Betts is like running for his life, and Garrett Cole and Mookie Betts are like in the same spot at this time, right? So Mookie had caught up to Garrett because Garrett was never going over. That's on him all day, right? That's on him all day. So again, that was a run. But here's the thing, that's not the end of the world until all of that begins to add up, right? Until all of it begins to add up, because now you put yourself in a situation where you've made 3 errors, albeit that one's probably not going down in the book as an error. It probably went down in the book as a base hit for Mookie, which I'm cool with, but it's a mental lapse. Therefore, it is an error, okay? And so because of that, now you've still got the bases loaded. All right, you've surrendered a run. It's 5-1. Not the end of the world still though, because you got 2 outs. You got 2 outs. But freaking Freddie Freeman's up the bat. He's dropped 4 bombs, right? He's dropped a bomb in each of the last 4 games of this World Series thus far. He could tie this thing up with one swing of the bat. You got to pitch to him, right? Because you got nowhere to put him on. The bases are juiced. Okay, he pokes one out center field, scores 2 runs. I'm bragging on my guy Mookie here. He goes from first to third on the play. So now you got first and third. 2 more runs have come in. It's 5-3. Oh crap! Now Teoscar Hernandez is up to bat, the 4 hole, who's been just as productive as anybody dang near on the team. So he hits a double, a 1-hopper off the wall. Freddie scores from first. Obviously, he's taken off on contact with 2 outs. Mookie easily scores from third. So now it's a 5-5 ball game all of a sudden. And then it's back and forth until the Dodgers figure it out in the end, man, to win the game. But I'm telling you guys, that was just such a fun game to watch on television. I'm so thankful that I was able to watch it from start to finish because it was epic. And it was a lot of fun to watch. I'm grateful to have been a part of that on my couch somewhere or wherever I was at the moment. But if you didn't see it, go watch it because there's a lot to learn from that 5th inning. Sorry, not sorry, Yankee fans. Go Red Sox. Anyway, moving on. All right, moving on. So before we take a quick break here, I am going to just say this. All right, FAFSA. Okay, FAFSA. For those of you who don't know what this is not applied to my entire audience, but I gotta say it because I don't want to forget it. Okay, high school seniors, whether you're a student athlete or not, get mom, dad, yourself, whatever, get everybody together at the kitchen table and take care of this FAFSA stuff, man. FAFSA. All right. So you can actually go to usa.gov/FAFSA to make sure that you get your FAFSA done. And remember, this is federal student aid. It's a free application for federal student aid, is what FAFSA stands for. And so this is an opportunity, guys, for you to go out and get some grants. You qualify for different loans, obviously, through that, but take advantage of what the federal government has to offer from an education standpoint, with being able to at least pay for it, so that mom and dad or whomever else are hanging out with you or taking care of you at least, are not having to come out of pocket. So that's my PSA on that front. Before we take a quick break, I just got a plug, man. You can, if you're watching on video, you can probably see the logo slightly on my laptop here. But my wife and I, guys, so I guess it's been, I don't know how long it's been, a month maybe, close to it. All right. A month or so ago, we started our own clothing brand that I am just incredibly proud of. One, my wife and I, this is the first time we've like owned a business together. Bethany's, done business with her mom. I've had my own businesses, and I still do. And so we decided to do this together. So I came up with this idea of love first, and it's really spawned from just the climate, sometimes of life, and I think at least here in the United States, I know we've got some people out of the country, but even there, it can apply anywhere. It doesn't matter where you are, but love first. And so the message there is simple, right? Just decide before you decide to do anything else. Decide to love first, right? Whether it's your neighbor, whether it's people you live with, constituents, acquaintances, friends, whomever it is, choose to love them first, and then everything else will hopefully fall into place from there. Just do that, and the world will be a better place. And so anyway, lovefirstshop.com is where you can go shop all of our merch. We've got Diamond Discussion merch on there as well, and then there's an entire slew of just stuff for men, women, children, really young children as well. We've got some accessories and such and whatnot. But go on, guys, go shop and check us out at least. And if it's not something for you, maybe tell a friend and see where that can go. So anyway, a little plug for Love First. But what we're going to do here, guys, is we're going to take a very quick break, and then we're going to come back. I'm going to share with you all just that, talking about that purpose of fall travel ball, at least here in Georgia, because it comes right on the heels of school ball. So I'm going to come back. We'll talk about that and a few more things, and then we'll go from there. Be right back, guys. All right, guys, welcome back. So here's the thing. Purpose of the fall ball travel season, at least like I said, here in Georgia, coming on the heels of school ball. It's a shorter season, right? It's a couple of months. Usually it's, at best, you're talking mid-October, but usually it's like last week of October to first week of December, something like that. So you're talking about a 5 to 6 week stretch, of being able to get together and see what can happen. So one of the things I feel that I use the fall ball season for is to just kind of figure out what the chemistry can look like, not what it will be, right? Or what it is in that moment, because it's not going to be perfect, obviously, because typically you've got a brand new batch of players, if you will, a brand new group of players because you could have had, if you're at least, if you're an older team, an 18U team, you probably had some players graduate. You've got some new ones coming in, so you're trying to figure out the chemistry and see what that looks like right now. One of the other things that I think are important for this for the fall season is to try and showcase your players as much as you possibly can, because this is usually the off season of college coaches. Okay, and I say usually because some college coaches out there that I've been, especially the ones I've been talking to recently, like they're like doing other sports too. I know like there's a couple of coaches that I know they're doing volleyball as well. They're doing basketball, so they're not really in an off season right now. But this is their recruiting opportunity time because they're not in season, not in softball season at least. So again, with that being said, go to some exposure camps. I've had plenty of conversations with you guys about exposure camps, how to best use those and to your advantage. Make sure that you're not overspending, but also going to enough to where you feel like you're getting some good looks on that front. I think college friendlies, man, are just an incredible way to really get your ladies and guys seen, and players. This is a great way to do it. Go out, play against a college team, and use the fall ball season to do that. Most schools, NAIA programs, JUCO programs, they're going to be able to play against travel ball teams if the coach is open to doing something like that. And if they are, great opportunity to plug in there. I think there's something, to me, there's something special and just really great about travel ball coaches having a good quality relationship with college coaches. Okay, because all that does is really strengthen the bond there, and now you're pretty much you're becoming a feeder team, right, for a select few colleges. Like I've seen that over the last 6 years or so of me coaching ball, where okay, yep, I can plug a player in here, and I already know, like, by the time a player is ready to go off to college, or but by the time we're talking, having that conversation, if a player's like, hey, this is what I'm looking for, I can already have a school or a coach or what have you in mind because of the relationships that I have, and we can pick up the phone and have that conversation a lot easier today than I could have maybe 4 years ago. Honestly, maybe 2 or 3 years ago, right? But again, all that to say, great ways to be able to use this. And I guess the last way, in essence, is to prep for the spring summer season. Spring summer season is a lot longer. It's twice as long, at least for us. And I know for some of you out there, it's 4 or 5 times as long, because some teams, I know, at least in Georgia, there's we have the big showcase down in Valdosta, Georgia, that takes place, and then we have another one in North Georgia called the Owl City. And I know some teams, they do those two showcases, and that is it. So in the fall at least. And so in the spring summer season, again, it's a lot longer. Therefore, use the fall to prep for that with chemistry, with the showcases, and just trying to find the vibe for the team, and figuring out where everybody fits, and trying to get everybody as many reps as you can so that they can go into the winter, into the off season, feeling good about where they are and understanding where they need to grow and go to. So anyway, using that fall season the best way you possibly can. Those are some great ways to do it. Let's talk about on defense, whether you're an outfielder or infielder, doesn't matter. How do you anticipate where the ball is going to be hit? Now, let me preface this by saying 10U, 12U, and even some 14U out there, this doesn't necessarily apply as much, only because it's just a younger age group. And what happens with younger age groups is that what is supposed to happen doesn't always happen. And here's what I mean by that. 18U, 16U, obviously college level stuff. Here's an example. A pitcher, right, gets their sign from coach or the catcher. Catcher slides to the outside half of the plate. We're supposed to throw the ball where? To the outside half of the plate. Boom. Pitcher throws the ball to the outside half of the plate. She hits her spot. Fantastic. What does a good hitter do in that moment? They're going to take the ball to the opposite field, right? That like that's kind of textbook of how things are supposed to happen. All right. And so what happens on that front is now we know, okay, everybody knows the sign. We check down to this. Now we know second baseman, first baseman, right fielder, center fielder is going to shade a little bit. Those four positions are now on alert, right? Because they anticipate what is supposed to happen in that moment. Okay, now, I didn't say how well the batter is going to hit the ball. They may drive it over the fence or off the wall or in the gap or what have you. But either way, that side of the field should definitely take note of where the catcher is setting up and also how consistent their pitcher is being throughout the game. Are they consistently hitting the spots and targets that the catcher is providing for them? And if that's the case, then you have a pretty good idea of what's going to happen there, right? Now the reason now that and so that's why I kind of say that at the younger levels, what you expect to happen isn't always going to happen, right? Like that's younger pitchers, they're not going to hit their spots as often. Younger batters, they're not going to go with the pitch opposite field as often. So again, you just kind of take that with a grain of salt at that age. But again, the older you get, the more you can expect to happen. What's supposed to happen will happen. You'll get the result and the outcome that you're looking for. Another way I believe that you can anticipate where the ball is going to be hit is by the tells of the batter. Okay. Now I've talked about this before, but if a batter's going to open up his or her stance, then maybe we can, for the most part, we can anticipate a pull, right? They're going to pull the ball. If it's a righty batter, they're going to pull the ball to left field there. All right. Or if they've got a heavily closed off stance, then one, the inside pitch is going to be a lot tougher for them to shank or yank rather over to the left side. So you can really expect them to drive the ball back up center field or really to the right center field gap there. So again, just a couple of tells on that front that I wanted to share with you because I think it's just good to know any advantage that you can gain as a fielder is great. Another one that I just thought about actually just now is what I've been noticing. And batters, if you're doing this, maybe you need to kind of be aware that you are doing this. But I was we just got done playing a couple of college exhibitions over the last couple of weekends against some other travel ball teams there and against the college teams. And a lot of batters, if they're going to bunt the ball, they're already starting with their hands slightly separated, right? Obviously, we're most folks, they got both of their hands kind of touching there on the bat, top hand and bottom hand there. But if they're going to bunt, they've got them slightly separated, and it's slightly as in like 3 or 4 inches, not much, but it's enough to recognize that they're trying to make it easier for themselves to get that top hand to a good sturdy bunting position. And again, that's one of those tells that you want to be aware of. What's another way to tell if somebody's going to potentially bunt? If they're in the top of the box, if they're good at what they're doing, right, and if they are doing it the right way, I would say, then they're probably going to be at the front of the box. Okay, why do you not want to be in the back of the box if you're going to bunt the ball? Unless you're a slapper and going to make your way to the front mid pitch, you really don't want to be in the back of the box if you're bunting the ball because if it's going to in any kind of bunt down, straight down, or what have you, has a high likelihood there of going foul versus back out into fair territory, which is where ultimately you want to get the bunt down. Okay, so again, just a freebie on that one. But those are some ways that you can anticipate where the ball is going to be hit. I'm going to take, I know this is a quick segment here, but I'm going to take another quick break. We'll be back. I'm going to wrap up this show with just some things that I've learned doing something specific over the last month or so that I won't share yet. I'll close it out with my thought you should know moment, and we'll get you guys out of here. All right, guys, welcome to the show one last time. So I was being a little bit incognito there a moment ago about what I wanted to talk about here. But I wanted to save it for last because I will tell you, man, this has been an incredible experience for me. I first of all, man, I am so blessed. I've got great family, great friends around me as well, and I know sometimes. I guess this is a freebie as well on the show. But sometimes, guys, I know that a lot of us we get so bogged down, or we get we can be Debbie Downer at times. But if you just take a step back and just notice all the good in your life, right? And if you live with an attitude of gratitude and an attitude of thankfulness, man, you'll really begin to find some of those things that that seem small right now. They're actually really, really big in the grand scheme of life as far as what you can be thankful for. So anyway, all that to say, I had the opportunity. We did this a couple of years ago, but I had the opportunity over the last month or so to play some co-ed kickball with my family. All right, and you might find that a little funny, okay, because kickball it's not like it doesn't seem like a serious thing. It's typically known as like a playground game that we do in elementary school, right? But let me tell you, kickball around the world actually gets pretty serious and very, very competitive. All right, so I'm gonna say that we're in like this social competitive league. All right, it's a little more social than it is competitive this year. That's okay though. All right, my family, we're crazy competitive. Yeah, like, so we just know that. Okay, so anyway, I just want to say, man, I wrote down a few things that I've learned this season from playing kickball with my family. And one of them specifically, like I got an opportunity to be the pitcher for the team, and it's really you just go up there and you go bowling every pitch pretty much. But one of the things I know for sure that I learned this season is that, man, you play with or at least I do. I play with so much more confidence when I have the love and the trust of my teammates. Okay, and again, I'm sharing this with you guys because I feel like it can help you in your games. Maybe you don't play kickball, maybe you play baseball, softball, basketball, pickleball, football, whatever it may be, soccer. All right, but whatever it is, okay, when you have the love and trust of your teammates, it should give you that extra swagger. It should give you that extra vote of confidence to go out and play your game and compete at the highest of levels. Because I just knew as a pitcher this season with my family kickball team, anything that's going up in the air, right? Which I'm trying to produce a lot of pop ups in kickball. Ground balls are good, okay, in kickball, especially to the left side, because a lot of times the throw's not gonna be made over to first base. So I'm trying to produce a lot of pop ups. I'm trying to get balls in the air, and so for me, I know if I can produce that pop up, 9 times out of 10, really more than that, it's going to get caught. And it was all season long. Okay. And so I had that confidence in my defense, man. And it really made me feel good, right? Knowing that my folks literally, are right there behind me. And just, they did a great job behind me. So that was exciting. Number two on my list is that I feel like you can cut up and you can still get the job done. Here's the thing: we're undefeated. I expect us to win the championship this year, uh, for sure. Like it would be a major upset if we lose. I'll just say that. Okay, which is possible. Anything's possible. You got to go play the game. But I feel like we are able to go out. We're able to cut up. We're able to laugh some and have fun. But when it's ready to get the job done, we're locked in to do that. And the reason I bring that up is because sometimes there's players and there's teams out there that are really good at that, and then other times they're just not. They don't know when to flip that switch on. Okay, some teams they're just so freaking serious all the time, the whole time. It's grind, 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 and they never have any fun, which kind of sucks to be on those kind of teams. But it is what it is. There's other teams, which I think is the worst case scenario. They're just play, 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 cut up, cut up, cut up, and they don't ever get anything done, right? And they don't take anything seriously. And so now you're in a situation where it's like, well, why the heck are we here? Okay, it's not social hour, right? So again, I think you got to find that blend. You got to find that balance with your team. Back to my fall ball conversation in the previous segment, that's a great time to figure that out. What does the vibe of your team look like? Is everybody kind of nonchalant? Is everybody high energy? It's somewhere in between, like good vibes. What does that look like? And so again, for us, we were able to cut up. We were able to have fun. We were able to still dominate this season throughout the regular season and get the job done when the lights came on. So I think that was incredibly important for us. And then the last thing, which I kind of just alluded to it, is that guys, don't take yourself so seriously. Okay, I am ultra competitive. It doesn't matter what I'm competing in. Tonight at hours before this recording took place, I was down in Macon, Georgia. By the way, you need to go check it out if you haven't yet. But I was down in Macon, Georgia. The old Macon Mall, a portion of it has been turned into 32 indoor pickleball courts. All right, which is actually the world's largest indoor pickleball facility. That's right, the world's largest, right here in Macon, Georgia. So I got a chance to go see it with my own eyes. I played pickleball for the better part of 3 hours tonight, and had an absolute blast. Right, every game I'm locked in. I'm super competitive. I lost my first game. I won the rest of, I don't know, I played another 10 to 15 games after that. But whether I'd won or lost them, I was locked in. But I also had a good time. I'm singing. We got music going. Just, catching up on the day, catching up with my dad and my brother went with me as well. And then got a chance to meet brand new people, great competitors, but also just good folks, right? And so it's okay to not take yourself as seriously. Like, don't go out there and compete with all of this pressure on you. I know some of you go out there with just you got college coach eyes on you. It's like, oh my gosh, I don't want to screw up this opportunity, or you've got whatever the pressures may be, right? But again, don't allow those pressures to get to you. Don't take it too seriously, and don't take yourself too seriously. Like, be willing to laugh and smile a little bit, and enjoy the moment. Enjoy the moment. So anyway, guys, with that being said, I'm going to give you my thought you should know moment. And here's this for you, okay? Because if you're watching this here in November, all right, you may feel like, well, it's a little bit early for him to be talking about this. Well, no, it's not. Okay, so hear me out. All right. My thought you should know moment tonight is that if you're a goal setting, New Year's resolutions kind of girl or kind of guy, start on them now. Start thinking about them right now. Chew on it a little bit, sit with it a little bit, write them down, just to see if what you're writing down today is what you truly want to focus on in January, come January. Okay? Because that list may change, right? Over the however many weeks it may be, until January 1 for you from now. But also that list could be the very core of what 2025 could look like for you, right? And so why not spend some time with it? Why not take the time to say, hey, you know what? Instead of this just being one of those fad type New Year's resolutions that I only focus on for a couple of weeks or a couple of days, even for some people, in January, let me see if I can get this thing to February and March and April and into the summer, into the fall, into the fourth quarter of the year, right? So that is my thought you should know moment for you today, guys. Go take a look at those goals, take a look at those New Year's resolutions, begin to chew on them and work on them now, just to make sure that is what you want. And if it is, man, I wish you all the best. I wish you the best of luck. I hope that this show has been incredible for you. I've enjoyed it. Like I said, at the time of this recording, it's a Friday night. I know this show drops Saturday, November 9th, our anniversary. So excited about that part too. Actually, you know what, guys? I think we're going to give a giveaway. We're going to do a giveaway. I'm going to figure out what that is. So if you're watching the show and if you haven't seen it on Instagram yet, it's coming. All right, it's coming. It's coming on social media. I want to figure out an anniversary giveaway because I'm in a good mood. I'm always in a good mood, actually, but I'm feeling good about it. So anyway, thank you guys so much for tuning in, man. I'm going to wrap this show up, though, man, like we always do. So with that being said, please let absolutely everything you do be done in love, because at the end of the day, that is truly what makes this world go round. Thank you all so much once again, and we'll catch you next time.